a man can marry as many wives as he wants, only if he will marry the wives using the Swazi culture, not the Western type of marriage of the white wedding in the churches. And then it depends how rich you are, because you have to pay for the wives. You pay to the wife's family. Today, you also pay for your wife using cash or money. It's the wife's family which tells you how much for each cow. So now in Swaziland, one cow can cost between 7,000 rands to 9,000 rands each, because our currency is equivalent to the rand, and we also use the rand in Swaziland. But the euros, maybe one cow between 600 to 700 euros. There is this house that is next to the gate. This is where all the girls in the home sleep, from the first and the second wife. When they are 6 years old, they stop to sleep with the mother and father. For the privacy of their parents, they all come to sleep here until they grow and go to get married. But in the past, there were no schools, so if they want to see that you are 6 years old, you touch the ear like this. Because we believe that if you are 6 years old, the hand can touch the ear. If you are not, it cannot touch the ear, then they see that you have to sleep with the parents.
Okay.
And then unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we are renovating the home. So normally the house of the girls, it's surrounded by a windshield made of reed like the other windshields, because girls help the mothers during the day to build and fix all the windshields around the home that are made of reed. And they only use reed to make the windshields, because every year in Swaziland at the end of August we have that ceremony. They call it the reed dance, umhlanga, where they call all young girls around the country to go to cut the reed for the mother of the king. That's when even the king can choose any of the girls to become the next wife.
Ja, dat had ik gezien in een boekje. In augustus dan gaan alle meisjes...
So now, ladies and gentlemen, I'll count to 3, and then we will shout together and say, "Hey, Kaya!" so that you get the permission to enter the home. Let's try to shout a bit louder so that you don't have to shout again. So are you ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Hey, Kaya!
Then, ladies and gentlemen, we have the big enclosure that is made with the sticks. That is for the cows, the kraal. It's the most important place in a Swazi home. Swazis believe in ancestors or forefathers. So in a Swazi home, the forefather spirits, they stay within the cow's kraal. Of a Swazi marriage, it starts inside the cow's kraal. While she's still your girlfriend, they take her, put her inside the kraal, and they tell her all the rules of the home. She's bringing food to the men. Before she puts the food, she has to kneel down as a sign of respect, because in our culture, women must always be submissive to the men. The home has cows, then it's a rich home, because we use the cows to pay for the wife, we milk them, and we get beef. We also use them for plowing the ox, and they even use the cow dung or cow poop as polish inside the huts. Then they make traditional clothes with the skin and other domestic things. So in our local language, Siswati, we call this place Lipange Lemaswati, which means this is a Swazi bank. You can come. Then this small house here, this is the Swazi clinic, the Swazi hospital, the Sangoma's house. The medicine man, we call him the Sangoma. So, if one of the sons or the father is the medicine man, you come here for help. Even if you want to predict the future, you can come to predict the future, because he will throw the animal bones, interpret them, and predict the future for you. And also ask questions, which means it's where the boys start to practice how to help the father in building the cow's kraal and the fence around the home. So the boys' house, it sticks. But the girls at the gate, it's usually windshields made of reed.
Sihono.
Sihonqo.
Sihonko.
Yes. The youngest sons in the home. That's the house for the oldest son from the first wife. And that one up there next to the girls is the house for the youngest son from the last wife. Continue to look after the family.
The two oldest.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the oldest son inherits the father's property. The youngest inherits the mother's property. The other sons in between, they don't get anything. In between, they have to move out to start their own homes. But the oldest and the youngest, they stay in the father's home with their wives. And they only use these houses when they marry. If they're still young boys, they sleep where all the boys in the home sleep. The king at the royal family is totally different like in a normal home like this one. So that's why the king has 15 wives. For you to be the king, you have to be the only child from your mother. No sister, no brother from your mother. And then you also have to be the youngest son from all the other sons from the other wives. So it means even the king himself, he does not know where the next king will come from. That's why he has a lot of wives. Even his father, the late King Sopusa II, he was having 75 wives, 250 children. And every year during the reed dance ceremony in August, he can choose a wife after 5-7 years. That's why he has 15 wives. But if you look at the age, he was turning 49 years old in April this year. So if he was choosing every year, as we're talking now, he will be having 30 or 31 wives. What else his father used to choose each and every year. So that's why he had 75 wives, 250 children. It's a place for men and boys only. Women are not allowed to enter here. They come if they're bringing food, but they kneel down by the door. Then one of the boys would take and put inside. I would sit with the boys and teach them how to be a grown-up man. Here in the morning or in the afternoon, when the father comes, he will find that the fire is ready. He will be sitting down with the boys, sharing some ideas. If there's some meat for a braai or a barbecue, they do it here. Do some of the cooking. In our culture, we have special food that is not cooked in the kitchens and eaten by women. It's only cooked here and eaten by men and boys. A cow in the home, the head and the feet are only cooked here and eaten by men and boys. Then the rest of the meat, they can cook it in the kitchens and then the whole family can eat. Because we believe that if a woman eats the brains, she'll become intelligent. She won't be submissive to the man. She won't respect the man. If she eats the feet, she'll run away from the man. So in our culture, if you're a man, you don't buy shoes for your wife or girlfriend. Because if you buy the shoes for her, she'll run away. She has to buy the shoes herself. But the marijuana is just to encourage him so that he won't be afraid. But today, marijuana is forbidden in Swaziland. Once you are being found with marijuana, they just take you to jail. But as you know, it's common all over the world. People are different, some are difficult. They say rules are meant to be broken. They do grow it in the forest or mountains and then sell it in the black market. So if maybe Swaziland was the Netherlands, you could say it's a coffee shop in Amsterdam. So let's go and see the place for the first wife. So where we are, this is the place for the first wife. Each wife is given 3 houses. Then inside the houses they make fire. When they are making the fire, the smoke can come out of the grass, but there is no chimney. If it's raining, water cannot go inside. For you not to inhale the smoke, you sit down, don't stand. The smoke goes up at the top of the hut, and it also helps to chase away the insects which eat the frame and the grass of the house. 5 weeks to build the frame or the structure of the house, depending on the size. Like inside, and they are naturally air conditioned. If it's hot outside, inside it's cool and nice. But if it's cold outside, inside it's a bit warm. If there are family discussions in the home, we have them in the grandmother's bedroom, the biggest and the most important house. Women sit on the left, men sit on the right. They say men right, women left. If the man goes to visit one of the wives in her house, they don't sleep together. The wife sleeps on the left with the children who are not 6 years old. Then the man sleeps on the right. Once the children are sleeping, then the man can take a stick to poke the wife and say, "Madam, it's time to jump on the right side."
Là, quand les enfants sont endormis, ils peuvent...
They are shouting. They call them in the grandmother's hut to sit down and talk to them. If one of the girls outside is hitting a child, once the child runs and goes inside the grandmother's house, you stop to hit the child. So the grandmother's house, it's a house of peace. For light at night, they used candles made of animal fat, or they keep the fire burning in between the poles.
Des bougies faites à partir d'animaux.
When they are making the floor inside, they use termite heap soil, because termite soil is Swazi cement. They crush it until it's soft, mix it with water, and then they make the floor. Pick the cow poop, mix it with water, then they polish the floor so that it's not dusty. When you're going out, it's not ladies first, it's men first. For the safety of the lady, if an enemy is outside, then the men can easily sort it out. So men first.
Et vous, si on sort en premier, c'est pour votre sécurité.
She sleeps outside kitchen, that's the kitchen, and this is the beer hut. But all the houses in the home, they look the same. How could you tell the difference? We use the horizontal lines on the windshields to differentiate the houses. In a bedroom to sleep, there are 4 horizontal lines on the windshield that is in front of the door of the house. Kitchen to cook, 3 horizontal lines on the windshield in front of the door of the house, as well as the outside kitchen. But if it's a beer house, there will be no windshield in front of the door of the hut. And then you know that it was an open bar where you can just go in and help yourself. Then closer to the second wife, we have that house over there. It's the house that we just came out from. That's the bedroom for the chief, the father of the home. If he wants to be alone, he does not want to visit the first or the second wife. That's where he goes to relax. For the wives to visit the husband over there, it has to be on special invitations. They don't just pop in. Because if he wants to marry a third wife, that's where the new girlfriend would come to stay for the night. The name of that mountain, we call it Nyonyane Mountain. Nyonyane. Nyonyane means a small bird or a little bird. Yeah, a small bird. Before we got independence in Swaziland, that used to be our execution rock.
C'est la montagne où ils exécutaient les gens.
If you kill someone or you are practicing black magic, they take you to sit for a trial. If you are guilty, they take you to the top, and then you are forced to jump down using spears, especially on the other side, because that side, the cliff is very steep compared to the side that we see. And bring it in the home, because they believe it will bring bad luck to the family. So you stay out there until you are eaten by the vultures or the wild animals. But the good thing, ladies and gentlemen, today in Swaziland we have a good justice system. We don't have the death sentence anymore. Now we have prisons. The last execution took place in 1902, even though we got independence in 1968 from Britain.
1902 is de laatste geweest, dat is al heel lang geleden.
So, ladies and gentlemen, do you have any questions?